Welcome to Married to the Boss podcast. Here are your hosts, Mike and Myra Harley.
Hi there, everybody.
Hello, everyone.
Today we are going to be discussing the very last topic on our series, All In with AI. And the topic for today, to close up this series, is called AI Power. My goodness, I cannot talk today. I only have one cup of coffee.
Too much turkey.
Yeah, too much turkey. AI-powered marketing. And that is specific to customer engagement and social media. So one of the things that drives me nuts, and the reason we're going to talk about that is because it just drives me nuts. Well, I shouldn't say it used to drive me nuts, but now, of course, it's been years since I've understood the technology that's being used, but it's gotten exponentially even more annoying for me personally. But anyways, have you ever wondered how brands like Netflix and Amazon seem to know what you want to watch next?
Normally you ask who wants to go first, and you didn't do that this time. You must be really, really into this one. So
that's true.
To answer your question,
I was kind of excited about this particular.
You were,
yeah.
Okay. Well, to answer your question, yes, I have.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, today we're going to discuss the whole gamut on how AI is now used to make it even more obvious that companies like Netflix know exactly what wandering minds want to know or want to watch. If you're on the internet surfing, you see ads that relate to something perhaps that you just looked for. But if you are in front of your television watching something on Amazon or Netflix or whatever streaming service you choose to use, how they actually know what to recommend to you. So we're going to dive into their content creation. We're going to dive into how they leverage that to further the engagement with their customers like us. And we're also going to cover some of the social media aspects of it and how you can leverage some of those analytics within social media to help you somehow leverage it if that's something that's interesting to you, the audience. So let's jump in.
I don't know anybody that likes these ads following you everywhere you go. It's crazy, and it's going to get a lot crazier. So
I agree.
I say
that's the reason I think that's the reason I think it's important to touch on it, because from the business standpoint, as much positive there is out there for the business side, it's, you want to make sure that you consider all of those things, but it does help if you do it selectively.
If you don't overdo it, it's the overdoing it. That if I click on shoes, I'm going to see shoes everywhere.
Golf shoes for your wife for Christmas?
Yes, and I don't want to look at them anymore. All right, so it's all about content creation. Automated content generation, such as AI tools that can create high quality content, blog and social posts. This saves a lot of time and resources. And then there's personalized content. AI can tailor content to individual user preferences. And it increases engagement and relevance. So all that's true and all that's good.
But the problem is that now they're throwing in the monkey wrench, which I call AI the monkey wrench in it, and they're using that to actually make it better for people like you and me who are looking for something, and they just make the assumptions, that this is going to help.
But can I just say something about that? Going back to shoes, if I was looking for your shoes, I don't want to see the same shoes coming up in every ad. Can't they give me a couple new options and colors and whatever? But they don't do that. It's the same ad.
Well, unfortunately, that goes into the space of remarketing, and they are selling the data out there to, in the distribution tools that they use to distribute those paid advertising. They're actually distributing it among different websites, and that's why they're showing the same ad to you.
But it's the reverse effect. I mean, I want to just delete, unsubscribe, terminate and not even go to that site again because of so many ads. So it's a love-hate relationship.
Yeah, it is. It's wonderful when it's convenient, when you're actually looking for it and you want it, but it is also annoying when you get to the point that you've already closed the sale. I'm assuming you bought the shoes for me for Christmas. Let's just stop there. Let's not even go. But you no longer need to see it. Anyways, but that.
I didn't, but I just thought of something.
Okay.
So it's colder now.
Yes.
Okay. They did this last year at this time. It got colder. In Florida, cold is
Well, for us.
50 degrees.
Yes.
That's cold. And I'm looking for an outdoor heater.
Okay.
Right? Okay. Summer comes along, and it's 100 degrees, and they're still trying to sell me an outdoor heater.
Hopefully at a good price.
No. Anyways, it's so ridiculous. Anyways,
Well,
I don't want to steal your show.
we digress. Oh, no, it's our show.
I know
it's
it
Married
is,
to the Boss.
but you're really...
That's because the time is that time of the
Okay.
year. Oh, I'm not trying to jump ahead of myself, but no, it is that time of the year where
Yes.
people are just trying to push product, and of course now to make everything more in your face, now AI is there to help these businesses push the product, and we're here to encourage you to choose wisely. Again, we've said this before in choosing your AI tool. To help your customer during their journey. So whether it's a chatbot or some kind of assistant on your website, that's great, as long as it's used for the benefit of it, which is providing that 24/7 customer service or the personalized interaction that you're trying to achieve on your website. Also, one other positive area that you can leverage AI is in the analytics component of it. You want to know the feedback. Is it working? Is it not working? And not only can you implement that on your website, you can also retrieve that type of information out of your social media accounts. And by doing that, it'll help you identify what strategies to move ahead with and which ones to not fall back on, but which ones to retreat because they may not be working. But I know that I don't spend as much time on social media as you do, and I know that you have come across some of those things that I'm referring to in regards to the AI. You can kind of sort of tell which is AI generated, which is not.
Yeah.
But there are some aspects of it that you can use to help you manage it from the managing side if you're doing the social media yourself.
Yeah, and in regards to social media and content creation, I do use AI to create content. So, I think LinkedIn is the best example. I'm not on social media a lot, but when I am on it, it's mainly LinkedIn, and I am, writing something that I really want to get a point across, whatever the case may be, and I've said this before. You just, after writing and writing and writing for many years, is you just get sick of seeing your same old words, and so AI does help with that. So there's an AI tool on LinkedIn that you can improve your content.
Oh, wow. That's really nice.
And I absolutely love that. So, you just write in what you want to say, hit improve, and there it is. So that's nice to have.
One of the things that I like about those tools also is that it helps invigorate your personality, because to your point, you feel like you've written the same stuff all over again. You feel like your personality is getting lost in what you're writing, because you kind of, I don't want to say you grow stale to reading your same personality type over and over again, but at least it helps you, invigorates, I think, the message, but keeping your personality intact.
It does. I look at it like a built-in thesaurus. It's just got the right little tweak to it that makes you sound like really good. So, you can. So that's one part, is I like LinkedIn. Also, staying on LinkedIn, you can schedule your posts. So you can schedule a post for however many you want to create, schedule them, set it and forget it, and they're done for the next however long that you want to do that. So that, to me, I love that kind of tool that's available to do that, because we're all busy, and you can put in a calendar, write a post, you see your calendar, I got to do it, and this, you can organize yourself a little bit better. So, and then it helps with consistency and just, again, being organized. I like that. Then there's the monitoring aspect of it, which I like that as well because, again, just sticking with LinkedIn for a second, is that it's nice to have a platform that you can write a post using your own content, post it, and you can see, you can evaluate, how many people are looking at it and connecting, liking, whatever the case may be. But there is a difference I've seen in AI. So when you do write that content and you can monitor what you're doing versus AI versus what you wrote, there is an uptick.
Oh, I will admit, I love that component of leveraging AI for content generation, because I can tell you, as much as I like to write. I don't want to say I love to write, but I like to write. And I love being creative. I am very creative, even though I'm on the technical side, I am a very creative person. But creativity doesn't generate, as much fun in my mind as something as techy and boring as technology. But for some reason I get excited over technology, but not as excited when it comes to being creative with writing. But it does help me, because it does help me get past that bump.
Yeah, so you hear a lot of things about AI, and we've talked about a lot of things over the last 3 sessions, but the one thing that I do like about AI is that the insights that it gives you to help you get your point across, and I think that's invaluable.
Yeah, and I like that, because you don't know if what you're saying is resonating with your audience.
That's right.
And that's the one thing that we didn't have in the past, is you had to wait until at least 30 days went by. And I'm speaking from an old school. I mean, I'm going way back to the days where you had to wait 30 days before you could see the reporting on your analytics to determine whether that campaign worked. And that's how it was 20 years ago. 20 years ago, you had to wait 30 days. There was no such thing as real-time feedback from your analytics. So that's a wonderful thing, that it shows you right away what worked and what doesn't work, because you want the ability to analyze the performance of what your marketing campaigns are doing, especially when we ourselves are big proponents of investing time upfront on your marketing campaigns, where we're always encouraging, not just for our own business but our clients, to map out their entire year of marketing campaign. And we do that just because you have so many assets that you have to create around that. That takes time. And of course, because that takes time, you want to make sure that you get actionable insights that you can use to either optimize that campaign, or maybe go back and self-correct something that may not be being accepted, or it's not performing what you're expecting it to perform. So that's nice. And also, the nice thing about some of the newer generation of analytics is it gives you more, it gives you access to something that you had to be an advanced analytics person, that you had to either be certified on whatever framework you were using. But now you don't have to have that person on board. You can actually use some of these analytics that have the predictive analytics in it, where they can actually tell you, based on what you're doing, based on what other companies might be doing, and what it might do performance-wise. So that's really nice. And but in order to do that, like I said a few moments ago, you do have to understand what the objectives are. You want to make sure that you have an idea of what it is that you are trying to achieve. Let's say, for example, are you trying to get more? Are you just trying to gain more eyeballs? Are you trying to increase your sales? Are you trying to get more personal with whomever your site visitor is, or whatever it is, whether it's social media, whatnot? And that's important, because in order to leverage AI, you do have to understand that you have to be ready to provide a lot of data to the model. So even if it's something as simple as doing the chatbot on your website, which we talked about that in one of our segments, you do have to be ready and prepared with whatever content it is that you want that AI tool to work with. You have to be ready to provide that. So don't forget that planning is really important. And the more information that you feed it, the better. And you also want to make sure at the same time that you consider some of the privacy components of it. You want to, even though you're leveraging AI for something that may seem so commonplace in business like analytics, you still have to be cognizant of regulations and make sure that you stay compliant from that standpoint. And also, if there's some level of whether you're collecting email or something like that with your tool, you want to make sure that you're also keeping track of whether you need your customers' permission to do that or not. And also, a lot of that goes into play with some of the tools that some of them might be free initially for a trial period. Some of them, if they are free, maybe they're not very, very basic. They're not going to give you access to some of the points that we just made in regard to compliance and privacy. And also the integration component of it. Some of the free ones, even the short trials, may not give you the simple plug-and-play type of integration that you might need as either as an entrepreneur or a married couple who is doing everything. You're wearing many hats. So you want to make sure that compatibility to your business, to your current situation is paramount. So you have to ask yourself those questions that you need answered before you even make a choice. Are you planning on using it? Does it need to be integrated with your web management system? Does it need to be integrated with your analytics? Does it need to be integrated with your social media accounts? Those things, you want to make sure that you ask yourself those questions, because if the answer is no to all of those, then you're free to choose whatever it is that you want to go with. But if any of those are yes, then you have to consider the features of that tool and make sure that it actually conforms to whatever your requirement is. And the ability to grow it, right? I mean, you want to make sure that you are also using a tool that can grow with you. Maybe there's a data set limitation, and you need to make sure that you're aware of that up front. So that's important as well. And I'll leave you with a couple more items, and then of course after that, it sounds kind of repetitive, so I'm trying to think of the experience for the customer. That's paramount. And the ability to measure how well the tool is doing is another one that's equally as important. And of course, training. Are you able to use the tool without requiring too much investment of your time? Meaning, do you need to be certified? I'm being sarcastic. I mean, do you need a certification to use a tool? If that's the case, that's probably not for you. I know that I wouldn't use something, and I'm a very advanced tech person, and it's got to be simple, even for somebody like me, because guess what? I've got other priorities just as you do in your business. And a lot of that has to do with the vendor that you go with. You want to make sure that you go with a vendor that has a good, solid record, and a vendor that provides good, adequate support, because sometimes these systems may not perform the way that you would need for them to perform, and sometimes you might need some hand-holding, and that's okay. You just have to make sure that you're careful in considering the points and the parameters and the priorities for your business. So that way you can maximize what these tools have to offer to your business. So as far as how can you do that, just make sure that you keep in mind that tool selection is priority. Make sure that you have your plan in place, that the integration is also a priority. That way you're not caught off guard after the fact, that you realize, oh my gosh, I should have had something that integrates with my website so I don't have to dip into two separate environments. Just make sure that those kinds of things shouldn't be an afterthought. And also the ability to tailor the content to your business, and also make sure that you're able to provide personalized interaction with, whether it's the tool, whether it's in social media or your website or whatever the case might be. You want to make sure that engagement is as personalized as possible. And
can I say something right there?
Sure.
So all these things that you're covering, I'm not the R&D person, as you know.
And I am, unfortunately. That's the reason I bore people with the boring stuff. But this is important.
I know. And I'm not the techie person.
Yes. That's why I touch on some of the obvious technology touch points, but that's important.
Yes. And I'm not the most patient person.
I am least patient than he is. It doesn't look like it. But that's the reason I touch on things that shouldn't take you too long to implement.
Yeah. The reason why I bring that up is because there's a lot of time and effort into this that you're covering. I mean, I've seen you do it, and I'm listening you go over all these things again that you've put here in this presentation, and it's like, wow. I mean, it is a lot. And so to think that you're going to come up with a solution in days or a week, I would have to disagree with that, because I know how much time you put into it.
Oh yeah, because certainly it's not a one-size-fits-all
And it's not.
with any technology, to be honest with you. And I will use Word as an example because everybody knows Word, right? You have Word, you have Google Docs, Word version, and then you have some other whatever flavor of Word out there that anyways, some third-party OEM version of Word. What's it called? I forgot the name. Anyways, it's the one that has the Firefox suite. I forgot the name of the business.
That's
tool.
okay.
Sorry, it doesn't matter.
First of mind.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, now that left the train station a long time ago. Anyways, some people might think that Google Docs is a better for them in their business, whereas some people might think that Word is better for their business. And again, it's not one size fits all. Neither one of those are the right or wrong answers. It depends on your situation, right? And so the same thing applies with whether it's AI or any other technology.
Yep.
That's why it takes time.
I
You want to
agree.
make sure that you invest time in thinking through what are your needs, what are your priorities, what are the parameters that you have to work around, because you are limited. You have a limit set of parameters because of the situation that your business is in at that time.
Yeah, I mean, AI can be really intimidating, but if you just crawl before you walk, you'll be fine. Just, you learn it and you figure out what works for your business.
I agree. That's the reason I'm always repeating best practices, because from my standpoint, if you follow best practices, you will be able to effectively leverage whatever that tool is. In this case, we're talking about AI, in order to achieve whatever it is you're trying to achieve with your business and help you drive towards whatever your end game is. So that's important. So, and I know that some of the there are successful companies out there leveraging AI in it's sort of like a big, huge umbrella of what we just talked about, whether it's on their website, whether it's their social media, whether it's within some of their tools. That's where I get excited in leveraging some of the AI, is from a product standpoint, because I'm a product person.
Yes.
I love product.
Yes, you are.
I do, by product, I mean technology.
Yes, you are. So should we throw out an example?
Yes.
Okay. So
I'm hoping that you're going to touch on something that's relevant and close and dear to my heart right now.
So we've
Only
mentioned,
because we're going to play golf.
right. We mentioned that we do play golf a little bit, so we're getting ready to go play here after this podcast, as a matter of fact. So one of the new little toys that we bought each other pre-Christmas, because we play a lot of golf, is this range finder called Club Caddy.
Okay.
And Club Caddy is a cool little golf course management system,
Okay.
right? And so some of the solutions they offer, tee time management and online reservation system, a booking tool, cash register and point of sale, accounting and reports, customer management, member management.
So that's the golf course side of it.
This is the golf course side of it.
Okay.
Yep. Customer management, member management and membership portal,
Okay.
inventory management, and food and beverage ordering. So
Now, how do you think that they would use that in order to? I mean, like, how does that?
it's the most important thing for
Kind of hoping you touch on one of the areas that you like.
for a golf course. It's engagement. It's
Right.
with the customer. So
Well, one of the things that you mentioned to me all the time that you like is that, like, our course, they just started emailing every
yes,
time you
for
book a
review.
tee
So
time
every time
and
you
review.
you book a tee time.
That's all AI generated.
Yeah, you book a tee time. It's sweet. You book a tee time and easy to do. And then you get, after you play, you get that email that they want to review. And it's not really a review, I shouldn't say that. They're not using it as a review. They're using it as a
Feedback,
survey. They
yeah.
want feedback on what's going on in their golf course, because they don't have somebody driving around in a golf cart all day long. So why not take advantage of your customers? And I fill that out every time. Maybe the same things or not, but I'm trying to do what? I'm trying to help them. If they want engagement, they want feedback, they're going to get it. And they're going to get it straight, right? So then they get to, at that point, that feedback helps them with their different customers, their different players. They provide little things on the golf course, without getting into it, that will help the round of play. And so and kind of like reservations for, which we've been in the travel business. So let's say car rental, where we had to keep track of our inventory, we had to tailor our services, we had to make the rental experience so easy. It's the same thing here on a golf course. So streamlined operations, it improves customer service, and more importantly, it shows the customer that you're listening and that you actually that you care and they actually do something about it, and that's where the engagement comes in. That's what I like about.
Yeah, because when we go through the course, when we go through a round, and you're like, oh, hey, look, they did this, they did that, they did X, Y, Z, and that happened to be something that not just you but other golfers that we know have also provided that kind of feedback. And it's, to your point, it's really nice to see that they care about the customer's voice and actually are applying some of the feedback into their operations and making either the needed improvement or the more personalized approach.
And just one more comment, they just really added this whole thing in the last couple of months, wouldn't you say? So it hasn't been that long. And in 2 months' time, let's just use that, it's unbelievable the difference that it's made. I mean, you can see it every time we go on the golf course. It costs money, so they've got to make some pretty big changes, but they are making them, so they are listening. What does that tell the customer? That, it's going,
that you're valuable.
Right, it's going in the right direction.
Absolutely. And so I guess gosh, I just lost my train of thought. I was going to
short train. Yeah, it's a short train.
Doesn't go very far.
No, it doesn't.
Anyways, and only because I think I happened to glance at our handy dandy timer, and we're about
Look how close we are to being done.
Yes, we're running out of time here, just because everybody's time is important.
You finish it up.
That's right. So I will finish it up. Let's just go ahead and, like you would say, go ahead and get that ball in the hole so you don't have to putt.
Oh boy, we're still learning, but go ahead. We're still learning etiquette, but go ahead.
Okay. Yes, we are. Anyways, I am. Anyways, the whole point is, from a standpoint of resources, you probably have a lot of questions, and I'll go ahead and list some of the tools that might be helpful to you. Most importantly, there are some learning platforms out there that might help you in understanding more about AI and how you can leverage it. That way you're not intimidated by it. It's really, honestly, it's just a tool like your email tool. You just have to know how to use it. There are some sites out there that provide free, high-level subject matter courses, and like Coursera, Udemy, and LinkedIn, and a bunch of others. So I'll list those on the episode show note, and I'll also list some software that might be of interest to you. I'm not sure what type of businesses are out there that are listening to us, but I'll list some of the marketing ones because that's generic enough, and I think anybody could leverage those. So whether it's from a social media management standpoint, or a chatbot, or automating your marketing, automating the marketing component of your marketing campaigns, all of those things that are going to be helpful to you and help your business, because that's what we want to do. We're hoping that this will help your business.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Whatever we can do to help.
Yeah. So that's pretty much.
We've only got about 6,000 grains left.
Not even that. That translates to about 15 seconds.
Okay, so
because it's going really fast.
Thanks again for joining us,
yes.
And we'll talk to you soon.
Yes, that's it.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, we did that backwards.
That's okay. We're still married.
That's this week's episode of Married to the Boss podcast. Please join us next week for another episode. Thanks for listening.